No,
Cut the bullshit.
What bullshit?
This bullshit! Because I have phantom pain!
This guy is seemingly ridiculous. What do you mean you have phantom pain? There's no way that's a real thing, and that it's also intense enough to make you scream like that, right? Well, this guy is definitely still chronically online and probably literally insane, but there's a non-zero chance this guy did actually get a little sensation from this. Let me explain. First and foremost, phantom sense is real to some degree. It's not like some Ready Player One experience where you can hyper-realistically feel someone's uncle pretending to be a girl's VR chat titties pressed against you, but depending on who you are, you could still feel something. Phantom sense comes in all sorts of different forms. Some people are hypersensitive to it. Some people are only sensitive to it in specific ways. In my case, for example, I don't really have it that much, but around my forehead and eyes, I'm much more susceptible to it. But this doesn't mean when somebody stabs my cranium in Bone Lab, I piss myself in fear. It's more like getting goosebumps or chills. That's the experience for most people, a goosebump-like sensation. The best example I can give you is to take a pen or a pencil or something and hold it up between your eyes, bringing it close enough to just barely not actually touch you at all. This doesn't work for everyone, but if it does work for you, you're likely experiencing some chills throughout your body as your brain prepares for impact. This is how phantom sense feels for most people. Some people start off with no phantom sense at all, and it's something that develops over time. Other people start off super sensitive, as their brain is expecting to feel something, as VR has successfully tricked them into feeling like they really are there. And over time, as they get more accustomed to VR, their brain tends to learn to not expect any feeling. Now, there are limits to how much someone can feel from phantom sense. But those limits haven't been appropriately studied, and it's kind of hard to tell how far the phantom sense rabbit hole goes. I personally like to follow the probably bullshit method to see if someone is lying about phantom sense. This method was actually made by me, and it is very complex. Let me give you a few quick examples to see if you can catch on to my method. If I join a lobby and someone starts talking about how they can feel the floor, don't stop talking about how they can feel people touching them, and explain in detail what everything feels like, then it's probably bullshit. If I start throwing tomatoes at someone and they start grunting and whining about each 2D tomato, then I assume it's also bullshit. Except if they have over 4,000 hours in VR chat. Then I assume they're just retarded. So let's get back to the idea of phantom sense causing a serious discomfort. I can actually attest to this, as I used to have a problem with phantom sense bothering me in a game. No, I don't mean VR chat, I mean, weirdly enough, FNAF Help Wanted. It was basically my first VR game, and playing this game was especially difficult for me as the jump scares were so in your face that it caused me to actually feel very uncomfortable while playing. Even expecting to be jump scared and not being scared by the shock of the jump scare itself, I'd still feel panicked as the big animatronic was hitting my forehead, where I was more susceptible to the phantom sense. I don't know if I was just more used to it by then, or if it's because the jump scares are seemingly smaller, but by the time I played Help Wanted 2, this was no longer an issue for me. Even now though, getting jump scared in Help Wanted 1 can still trigger my sense a little bit and cause discomfort if I'm immersed enough in the moment. But a key takeaway here is that it doesn't hurt. It just made me uncomfortable. So when somebody's in a lobby expressing that phantom sense can bother them, I can understand to some degree what they mean, but it's never that bad. Again, it's like the pencil thing. You get some chills and it may even cause discomfort, but if it's something that's really bugging you that bad, almost every game has personal space options to keep things out of your face. But also, if you're playing a game without these options, the same way it takes time to get your VR legs and be less motion sick, you can get accustomed to not feeling things as much. I can play FNAF Help Wanted 1 due to my repeated exposure. Even if it still catches me off guard sometimes, that's more so because it's a horror game rather than because it's triggering the phantom sense. But now it's time to address the main point of this video. Is phantom pain in specific real? I don't personally have it, so we're gonna have to go off of other studies and other people's experiences to try and figure this out. Here's an interesting video that I think about weirdly often. This is a video where somebody has this fake hand and tries to essentially sync it up with the test subject's real hand by matching the sensations. So the other person's brain learns to expect to feel whatever the fake hand feels. And then the hammer is swung full force at the fake hand, causing a reaction by the subject for a brief moment to get worried and panicked and almost feel as if they felt something for a brief moment there. Whether this video in specific is real or not, I'm not sure, but I do know that this experiment is real and this is how it actually goes. But there's a big difference here in comparison to the guy in VR who's acting like a knife is causing him unimaginable pain, and that's that for only a brief second does the test subject get panicked. It doesn't actually hurt the person in this experiment and merely causes a scared reaction. So for this chud VR chat player to be in so much pain, they'd have to either be very new to VR, which, I mean, come on, that's not really a possibility, is it? Or they'd have to be some level of insane, which isn't out of the question. So then, is phantom pain real? Yes, sort of. Not actual, like, serious pain, but a quick jerk of, oh shit, is totally possible, and depending on the circumstance, it can even be probable. But in terms of someone getting poked in the eye one time and feeling it for a whole hour, that's pretty much out of the question for any normal person. If you were for some reason worried about trying VR and dealing with phantom pain, don't be. VR is awesome. It's really cool, and the sheer fact that it's immersive enough to give some people these sensations should really speak to volumes how cool it is, since you can't get that from any other medium, for better or for worse, but usually for better, and I mean that genuinely. VR really truly is something special, and it's so interesting to see things like this be brought up to people. The idea of a phantom sensation. You just don't get this kind of interesting side effects with any other medium. It genuinely is so cool. So next time you join a VR chat lobby, first of all, consider getting a job, although I don't really get to talk shit on you, but hey, you know, that's the general consensus. Second of all, know that the person whining about phantom pain may be chronically aligned enough to actually be feeling something to some degree. Whether you should give a shit or not is another story, but I'll let you decide what to do. I'm not your mom. If you want to see more chronically online examples, I did a video where I explored the terrifying world of a VR chat dating app. If you'd like to essentially look at a zoo for people with mental illnesses. If you're interested in just buying normal VR games, you can get 20% off the entire Quest store from now until January 1st by using the link in the description. It's the best way to help out the channel, and you get a free discount, so you might as well use it if you intend on buying any games. With all of that out of the way, I will catch you next time, fat bitches. I gotta get back to playing Kirby Air Riders for 1,000 hours. Thanks for the money, guys. Bye!